In my remarks last year, I told you all that one of the things I most wanted in the United States of America was more families and more babies. So let the record show you have a vice president who practices what he preaches.
That was Vice President Vance speaking just a short time ago at the March for Life on the National Mall here in Washington, just down the street from us. Thousands of people in the nation's capital to take part in the annual event. Let's bring in Shannon Bream, Fox News Sunday anchor and chief legal correspondent. Great to see you this afternoon. Difference from a couple of years ago, it's not snowing during the March for Life.
I've been out there many times covering this march where the people show up. I mean, well before the Dobbs decision overturned Roe v. Wade. I mean, folks will show up if it's negative whatever and snowing, they come.
Well, if they hang around for the rest of the weekend, they'll see the snow.
Yes, they will.
So at the same time the March for Life is going on, legislation is making its way through Congress, which relates to pregnant college students or college students who have children. This would add support to them. This is Congresswoman Michelle Fishback said about it. Listen here.
This is more than just a legislative win. This is a victory for every woman who has ever felt alone during a pregnancy. Our goal is to create a culture where every mother feels empowered to choose life because she knows she has the resources to flourish.
This is something that hits very close to home for us here at Fox and she's been very public about this. Our Dr. Nicole Saphier had a baby when she was 17 years old. She went through a final year of high school and then went through college, undergrad, and then went to medical school. So this would give support to a lot of other people who are in that same position.
An impressive thing. And you want to give people hope. You want to give them options that you're not going to be alone in this. If you find yourself with a surprise pregnancy, you're young, and you don't want to send the message that it cuts off all opportunity, that you can't go to school or get an education or do whatever it is you want to do as a woman, as a mother. And so, yeah, a lot of this legislation, some of it's gotten through the House, some of it's pending. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out in the Senate, some of these measures. But there are all kinds of very pro-life things that are happening around this anniversary and this annual Walk for Life.
Right. At the same time that this is going on as well, the White House is moving to expand the so-called Mexico City policy. This is what the State Department said about it. It said the State Department will release 3 final rules today, expanding the Mexico City policy to protect foreign assistants from subsidizing not only abortion as a method of family planning, but also gender ideology and discriminatory equity ideology / DEI. And again, at the same time all of this is going on, the NIH is moving to end funding for research that involves fetal tissue.
Yeah, when you talk about foreign assistance, of course, that's our money as taxpayers. I mean, and a lot of taxpayers, poll after poll shows, even if they're somewhat supportive of abortion rights, they don't agree that taxpayers should be funding it. And so most Republican presidents since President Reagan on have had this Mexico City policy saying, we're not going to give taxpayer money here to organizations that are providing or funding abortions. It sounds like this Mexico City expansion that Vice President Vance talked about in his speech as well goes to those additional things that you talked about, the gender identity and that kind of stuff as well.
All right, let's move to foreign policy now because President Trump is sticking it to Canada again after Mark Carney gave that big speech.
My Canadian friend?
Yeah, I'm only half.
Yeah.
So it only hurts me half as much as the rest of the country. Mark Carney gave that speech in Davos where he's basically saying, you know, countries that are not the United States need to forge alliances elsewhere. Think about leaning toward China. President didn't like that too much, and so he's disinviting Canada from the Board of Peace, posting this on Truth Social. Dear Prime Minister Carney, please let this letter serve to represent that the Board of Peace is withdrawing its invitation to you regarding Canada's joining what will be the most prestigious board of leaders ever assembled at any time. It's a really weird relationship between President Trump and Carney. They sometimes get along. They sometimes fight like cats and dogs.
I know. I don't think that they're in the mood for becoming the 51st state right now. I mean, there's a lot of dissension, and you know, they're very tongue-in-cheek when they have these kind of conversations. But that speech that Mark Carney made really, I think, got under the skin of a lot of folks in the Trump administration, including the president. There were pointed jabs without naming names that were pretty apparent, you know, coming in our direction. But remember, President Trump is all about disrupting the international order as it is now.
Shaking it up.
And he's always been about that. And so we'll see if these two get back on the Kumbaya train at some point.
2 things that were never going to happen, and you can take this from me. Canada was never going to become the 51st state. So all of that hyperbole about that wasn't going to happen. And President Trump was never going to invade Greenland. So you can take that one off your bingo
yeah,
card.
we know how to read the signs. Fox News Sunday, we've got Jean Shaheen with us, Senator, top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations. She's one of the ones who went over to Denmark to try to calm down this whole Greenland thing. So we'll talk about Greenland, the meetings this weekend, Russia, Ukraine, U.S., and talk of, trying to upend Cuba as well. And bring about regime change there. And do these senators get back in the winter storm to get the government funded before the shutdown next week?
In terms of you, what do you got? Snowshoes or a dog sled?
I'm going to take Biscuit Bream, my lab, and see if we can mush our way here. She's going to pull.
Love it. All right, good to see you. We'll see you on Sunday.
You too.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.